everybody, and welcome to the Happy Hour. Happy Hour is part of the family of shows on the podcast network, itsneworleans.com. When you walk into a bar in New Orleans and pull up a bar stool, you never know who's going to be sitting on either side of you. What you do know is, no matter what they look like, what they're wearing, whether they just got out of a limo or out of jail, Brandi, they're going to be happy to talk to you, because that's New Orleans, and this is Happy Hour. A cocktail-fueled 60 minutes of random conversation with folks who have nothing in common other than we're all New Orleanians in a bar. Today, we're at Wayfair on Ferret Street. Wayfair is a restaurant and bar serving handcrafted food and spirits where they put fine dining into a sandwich and fine booze into a glass. There are 3-hour happy hour every day from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Wayfair on Ferret Street. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Welcome to Happy Hour. I'm sitting in. This is Rich Collins sitting in for my good friend Grant Morris. May he get well very, very soon. We're thinking about you. All right. Hey, how's everything going? Good to see you, Brandi Studer.
Thanks for having me.
So, look, everybody, Brandi is originally from the Midwest. She now practices law in New Orleans for the national headline-making Orleans Public Defender. She also has an MSW, which is a Master's in Social Work.
Correct.
Which we believe every public defender should have, but doesn't. Brandi is a mom to Zeke.
Yes.
17 months old?
Yes.
So what's a day in the life for you like at your new job? How new is your job?
I've actually been there over a year. I was a social worker in municipal court for almost a year, and then I took the public defender position in Section B of municipal court in January.
And what made you make that change?
I don't know. I like being a lawyer. It's exciting. I guess you show up, you talk to all the people who were arrested the night before, all the people who are still in jail from the last time they came to court.
Right.
So you go through all of their cases, talk to them about their cases, talk to the judge and the prosecutor about their cases and see what can be done. Sometimes cases are resolved. Sometimes you get a bond set for people and try to talk to their family about how to get them out of jail as fast as possible. And we sort of look at our job as how we can get you out of jail as fast as we can.
What are the types of things that you see every day? What are the types of crimes that people are facing?
Well, I'm in municipal court, which are misdemeanors, so each case carries a maximum of 6 months.
Okay.
But I get a lot of sleeping on the sidewalk, criminal trespass, urinating in public cases, a lot of homeless, people cases.
So let me ask you a question.
A lot of fighting.
I have a life in film production. And a number of years ago, we were shooting outside of the Louisiana Children's Museum at around 2 a.m. And as we were pulling out of the museum, it was kind of unusual looking because there's all these cars in the middle of the night outside of this museum. Well, a policeman came by, and he ran some plates. And it turns out that the man who was our director, my friend, had an outstanding ticket from years ago.
Yep.
He was there with his wife and infant child. They apologetically, but nevertheless did it. They put him in cuffs, took him away, put him in an orange jumpsuit, gave him a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and he spent 24 hours in jail.
Yeah.
Then he got out and finished shooting the video for us on the next day.
Great.
But is that the kind of people you see?
You do see those kind of cases, yeah. Or, people who just came down for the weekend for Mardi Gras or for, whatever, and got drunk and got arrested or got into a fight and got arrested for something like that.
Right.
But we do get a lot of if you don't show up on your court date, or if you don't show up when they tell you to, then they issue a warrant for your arrest. It's called an attachment in municipal court. And they do arrest you. So we have people, I have a guy that came in Monday, I think, on a 2012 case where he was caught in 2012 sleeping in a dorm room.
Now, why would it be coming up now so much?
Because he didn't come to court in 2012,
got it.
so they issued a warrant for his arrest. And he hasn't been in trouble since 2012, but for whatever reason, they ran his name for whatever, and they said, oh, well, you have an outstanding warrant, so he had to come, and he's like, I don't even remember that.
Oh, gosh. So what's his fate?
In my court, he I think he pled not guilty. So it was an ROR. He was released on his own recognizance, and he'll come back and go to trial on the case.
Okay, so it's just ongoing.
Yeah.
Well, I've got more questions for you about that. It sounds awesome, but I want to introduce our other guests.
It's exciting.
I mean, it sounds great. It sounds also worthwhile, and I'm sure, and you mentioned it, and I'm sure it's true, you don't have nearly enough people to do the work you're doing. So I'm curious to ask you more about that. But sitting to Brandi's left for me is a man named Preston Titus, who is the general manager of the new Belle's Diner. How?
That's correct. Our signs went up over the Tomato Fest last year, so we're looking at right about a year.
Oh, great. Congratulations on your first year. So Preston is a native of Dallas, Texas, spent a lot of time on the West Coast in San Diego.
That's correct.
Surfing and restaurateuring.
That's right. That's right.
And,
a lot of golf in there, too.
Oh, is there golf? Nice. Yeah, absolutely. Was it Torrey Pines? Is that what the one?
Torrey Pines is up north, North County.
I have a friend who, one of my road managers from my other life, he lives in San Diego, and his daughter's name is Tori, in honor of his golf obsession.
Right.
So Preston has been working in the hospitality industry for more than a decade. Following Katrina, you relocated to New Orleans, and you have helped spearhead operations for numerous local restaurants and bars, including Lucy's, retired surfer bar.
That's correct.
Which has been in the news a couple times in the last year or two. New Orleans Hamburger and Seafood Restaurant, and Cosmo's. That's Cosmo down in the quarter?
Yes. Yeah.
The famed Cosmo Matassa of the recording scene back in the 50s and 60s, too.
Right.
So now Titus, most relevantly, has helped open Belle's Diner in the fall of 2015. And I hear that you have a menu of classic New Orleans favorites and cocktails, including, I got to hear about this, the Belle Boozy.
That's right. Yeah, it's we just took your classic malt shop milkshake.
Nice.
Added booze to it. And there you go. So.
Genius.
Yeah, right. I mean, kind of a no-brainer, but delicious, and we sell a ton of them.
Do you get to choose your liquor, or is the?
I do have a menu. Include the Thin Mint, the Chuck Berry, the Brook, which is a pecan pie hole whiskey.
Nice.
Wait,
what's the Chuck Berry? That's
the Chuck Berry is my take on a nuts and berries, which is Frangelico and Chambord.
So it's more than just booze. These are actually crafted and carefully thought out.
Yeah.
They sound great.
They're delicious. And then the Thin Mint, obviously chocolate and cream de mint. So.
But it sounds like I know a little bit about the food business, so I know that you get your things that are like the loss leaders, like the high food cost things. I would think milkshakes are not that cheap to make because of the liquor and also the ice cream.
Well, the ice cream, I do use vanilla bean ice cream. Each one of them starts with 3 scoops of ice cream. So yeah, they're not cheap to make, but they're well worth it.
But yeah, absolutely, it sounds great.
Especially with the way the weather's going right now. I mean, I think last weekend was our last weekend of cool weather.
Oh,
so
of course.
So if you guys have been outside today,
it's happening.
Yeah,
it's happening.
Starting to get warm. Yeah.
I know. I've been here 25 years. I married a New Orleans girl, so I'm here forever. But the Yankee in me around this time of year is still expecting more reasonable weather.
Right.
And then come like September, I can't believe it when it doesn't stop.
Right.
And it just keeps going. It keeps going. 90 degrees. But so tell me what are the highs and lows of your new venture?
Well, obviously, towards the end of summertime, we see a drop, but our season down here is reverses of everybody else's where I've lived. Obviously, San Diego, very summertime, touristy. Here we've got from January till July,
right?
As opposed to July, August, that time. So all those little festivals that pop up are awesome.
So French Quarter Fest was good for y'all?
Yes. French Quarter Fest.
Does it get too busy or something where it's impossible to do what you need to do, or no? It's just good.
Yeah. No, it kind of comes in waves. So like I said, it comes in waves, and it's great. So we do 24 hours on special events.
Nice.
So we're there open and feeding people and getting people drinks.
I don't think I mentioned you guys are down in Decatur near Café du Monde and all that, or the French Market.
Yeah, we have one side that opens on the French Market, one side that opens on Decatur.
Oh, I got you. You're down in that. What do you call that building? What's that section?
Not sure that building has a name, but it is. It's the 1100 block of Decatur.
Good. Okay.
So.
I lived for a time near Decatur and St. Philip, which is like a block and a half from where you
Yeah,
were.
yeah, not too far.
That was a fun era.
Right.
But okay, so what should I order when I come? What's like your go-to?
Preston's patty melt.
Okay.
It's good. It's my take on a patty melt: thick cut sourdough, bacon, blackened burger patty. Our burger patties are a short rib, chuck, and brisket blend.
Oh my gosh.
Sold.
That sounds great.
Yeah, come down. They're each hand formed and made to order. 8 ounces, so it's a really good burger.
That sounds awesome. And then so if I order that, what's my date order? What's the next thing we should check out?
Well, she can do the Decatur salad. It's a shrimp like a.
That's sexist of you, Preston.
I know, but we got everything down there from chicken and waffles to a nice shrimp salad to for morning we do breakfast all day. When we are 24 hours during special events, we got breakfast 24 hours. So includes pancakes, chicken and waffles, omelets. So.
The longer we're sitting here talking, the more delicious that sounds. Well, I definitely want to come check it out. So, look, folks, I want to introduce our last person. I realize I apologize. I don't have all of the bio information on you, Mikayla.
I'm right.
So
I'm a walking bio.
I want you to sell yourself.
Oh, gosh.
Give us the elevator pitch. Tell us about you, Mikayla.
My name is Mikayla Brown. I'm a musician in town and also work in the service industry. I sing mostly. I play piano and guitar. I call my own music neo-soul pop. So it's kind of catchy rhythms and hooks with introspectively driven lyrics that come from personal experiences and just, moments in my life. And I'm also part of a 7-piece band called the Crooked Vines. We're more of a funk pop collective kind of thing. And we do the Frenchman Street circuit and play all around town. My music's a little bit more low-key. And I also busk on Royal Street all the time. It's so much fun. You meet the most interesting people there. It's great.
I'm curious about that. How does that work? Do you have to have, is there this is my corner and I have a permit, or does it just come catch as catch can? How does that work?
Well, it varies where you are. So if you're on Decatur Street near the French Market, you have to get a permit, which is easy to get in the French Market building, which is the same building as WWOZ's, in which it's my favorite part of the city. I volunteer there every week.
Oh, you do? What do you do over there?
I do production now. When I first got there, I went to college in Wisconsin, and I drove down from there to here when I graduated, and I heard a song that I loved on the radio, and I thought, who plays this on the radio? And it was OZ. So I walked in, and I said, I don't have a job or a house. Can I be a part of this, please? I'll just sit. And so I sat in the front and smiled. I did the front desk for a while.
Oh, nice.
Which is great. You get to meet such incredible people there. And now I do more of a production side, so I'll do spots on the radio for underwriting and public announcements for the station
You
and
edit
everything.
you cut it together? Pro Tools?
Yeah.
Or it is?
It's WaveLab actually there.
Gotcha.
But I'm learning so much. It's a higher education for me. It's great.
So that's awesome. That sounds good. So it seems like you just said about 10 different things that you do. So you do a lot of things.
I don't like monotony.
You're young and you have energy. But wait, so what you were saying, you're getting that permit. So I would imagine there's certain spots that are the best spots, and is there seniority or how does that work?
There's a lot of camaraderie in the city. That's a beautiful thing. But for Royal Street, there's no permits or anything. There are people that are out there all the time, and it depends. I mean, it depends on the day. It depends on the season. It depends on the time of day. It depends on how many other people just happen to be out there. Everyone's respectful to each other, so if you see someone playing on a corner, you'll go a couple blocks so you don't bleed, because that's not good for anybody,
right?
And especially the people walking by. I mean, it depends where you want to set up on the street, whether people are walking from Canal to come into the quarter and they've seen 17 musicians already, or they're coming from the residential part. It's all, I just go where no one is, and if I get a spot, that's great. If not, I'll go on the river and just practice for a while.
That's nice. I'm by Waldenburg Park. Look at the.
Yeah.
I noticed when I was reading about you earlier today that the river keeps popping up.
I love water. It's calming.
I remember being on the Mississippi was one of the most romantic things for me about coming to the city at first, just because when you're a kid and it's obviously mythical.
And the bridge lights up at night. It's gorgeous.
Yeah. It's that. Jinx. Well, do you want to sing a number for us? We'd like to hear
right
it.
now?
Yeah, do you want to busk?
Sure.
We got to find some
busk
change.
in a bar.
Everyone check your pockets.
Yes, please.
But
I'm just kidding.
yeah, I'd love to hear it.
All right. Well, I guess I just released a single with my quartet about a month ago. It's called This One, and it's going to be, thank you, on the album that I have coming out in the future. We just were in the studio yesterday and the day before, actually. But this will be like a nice little solo.
I just want to give some context. While you were explaining that and taking your ukulele out, we all just got served a fresh round of drinks here at Wayfair. Brandi has a Pilsner of some sort.
I think it's called Yella.
Yella?
I think so.
Y-E-L-L-A?
Yeah.
She's got a Yella Pilsner.
Hella. I think it's a Y.
Brandi, what's that lovely, bubbly cocktail you have? I'm sorry, Mikayla. Yeah, what's that?
I have a raspberry royale. It's delicious. It's Prosecco and some raspberry liqueur and some kind of like really fancy raspberry at the bottom.
Oh, yeah. I see that
I'm
raspberry.
excited for it.
Preston, what you got?
I got the cucumber cooler. It's a Hendrick's gin, cucumber soda. It's delicious.
It looks like water, I can just say right now. I thought you were being like the most responsible of all of us, but that's
sneaky.
It's
Sneaky.
it looks very refreshing, that's for sure. And then I'm drinking some sort of red wine, and I have no idea. I ordered room temperature water and not sweet red wine. So anyway,
They got you covered.
I'm kind of a Cinderella about my voice. I have to protect it for my job. All right, everybody, this is Mikayla. What are you doing?
This is called This One.
See that it means something, but I know there's a lot on the line that's consuming your mind, so don't mind me right now. I'm just stuck in this mess of a lesson of love, but I will not give up. No, I will not give up on this world. Let things dissolve without even asking what happened. But with you I need a way to make my senses clearer, so I don't always feel so goddamn incoherent, like I'm stuck in this mess of a lesson of love. But I will not give up, no, I will not give up on this world. Not like I'll be waiting. We were never anything anyway. Maybe someday, maybe one day. See, I'm just stuck in this mess, the lesson of love. But I will not give up, no, I will not give up. You see, I'm stuck in this mess of a lesson of love. But I will not give up, no, I will not give up on this world, no, not this world. See that it means something, but I know there's a lot on the line that's consuming your mind, so don't mind me right now.
Hey, all right.
That was amazing.
Mikayla Braun, everybody.
Wow.
So tell us a little bit about that song.
Well, the person it's about has no idea and won't.
Is it Preston?
Uh-oh, he'll never know. But no, it's great about songs that I write. It's about, really in the moments that I'm feeling certain things, and not all my songs are love songs, if you will. It's just what I'm feeling in that moment. So if that feeling passed, because things change all the time. Right. I've sang that song about like 4 people now at this point, which is cool that you can you can reapply it and kind of sing about like wherever you are in the present, But I did just release that with a quartet, so I have actually I use an electric ukulele in that one, electric slide guitar, upright bass, and drums. So it's a little different.
You were telling me you had a new single. That's the one? Mm-hmm. It sounded beautiful.
Thanks.
Really nice. All right, so now Brandi and Preston are going to do a number for us. All right. It's like a doo-wop thing from the 50s.
Clap, tap, tap.
You guys could do you're the one that I want from Greece.
Where are the spoons?
I got through. Okay, so look, I'm just working around. I'm going clockwise here in this conversation. But let me just say, by the way, my name is Rich Collins, and I'm filling in for Grant here on It's New Orleans. And I'm here because I've come on the show a couple times, and I've known Grant literally since 1991 or something when I first moved to New Orleans, and so I always like coming on with him, and was happy to come here while he's on the mend. Hopefully he'll be back next week. But so when I come on, I'm usually talking about my projects. Preston knows a little bit, but I spent the 90s here. As a journalist, I worked my first job out of college. I worked at Gambit at the weekly newspaper. That was like it was such a fun job. That was my first job. But then around 2000, in the beginning part of this millennium, some friends and I had an idea, and we ended up developing the idea and pitching it and selling it to Disney, which was a television show for little kids called Imagination Movers. And so Movers ended up, the concept for the show was Red Hot Chili Peppers meets the Blue Man Group for little kids.
Yes.
So that was the whole thing. So we made this show back in Jazz Fest. I won't even say how many years ago, but they came and saw us, struck a great relationship, beginning of a long relationship. And so we ended up filming 3 seasons of Movers after the flood in like 08 through 12 out in Harahan. It was a ton of work. It was a huge production, lots of a crew of 100 people. It was this great thing. Anyway, and so now in the years since that we made the show, I basically make a living. I travel all over the world playing concerts on the strength of that show.
So cool. That's awesome.
So like tomorrow I'm leaving to go up to the East Coast for a show. I was in Virginia last week, and this is kind of my busy season, but. And whenever I come on this show, I'm always talking about my other business, which is writing and creating more music. That's why I really enjoyed listening to what you were doing, Mikayla, because like a lot of people in New Orleans, I'm a creative soul, and that's basically what I live to do is create. And so I find that this city, more than any other place, is very supportive. I know that Movers wouldn't have happened if we lived in Dayton. Not that there's anything wrong with Dayton. We go to Dayton a lot and play that. But I mean, you know what it is for us, and I was curious about you with your work too, with the restaurant and with everything. The fact that people here would rather eat a po' boy than a Subway sandwich, or at least they that's certainly it's in your mind.
Yeah.
And that kind of sensibility doesn't exist in a lot of places. That helped us too. So when we started that idea, immediately people were receptive to this like locally grown thing. It's like farm raised, locally grown versus whatever the other content was. And so I find that, to me, as we're talking about New Orleans, is something that's obviously essential to me. And actually, I wonder for you, restaurant-wise, how that applies.
You have everybody else that's interested in food too. Which is awesome, which helps you kind of create and
in this community, right?
Right. I mean, when everybody else is excited about it and you're excited about it, then you have a lot more freedom to grow and move on, and not just go to McDonald's or Subway, like you said, or
right.
You know what I mean? So, this culture does breed that, and people down here, we enjoy it. We take our time. We don't just look at it as, substance. It's an outing, and it's an adventure, and it's something that we do together. So.
Right, instead of trying to get a buffet food, as much food as cheap as possible, as fast as possible. It's like an experience.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people, you don't hear of Friday lunches anywhere else except for here. I mean, 25-cent martinis, for lunch. That doesn't, I don't think that exists other places. I mean, So that does help, feed your passion, feed my passion for food and drinks and, just enjoying the time that we have with each other and eating and drinking. So
I would guess it inspires you, but does it also like force you to be on your A game when you're doing it down here?
I definitely think so. You can't just take packaged products and throw them on the grill and then throw them out and expect to have some sort of following here in New Orleans. I don't think that really flies. So
you can't go all Cisco.
No, definitely not.
Well, what made you decide to go out on your own? It's a brave thing to do, I know.
Well, I talked with a couple people and they wanted me to come spearhead this and we've been fortunate enough to keep it going and it's been a really good outlet. So
yeah, I mean, I imagine it's well, it's just it's you're vulnerable and it's a risk like anything.
Right. Yeah, it is. I mean, anything you do is a risk, but if life was easy or if it was easy, everybody would do it.
Absolutely.
So.
What's the biggest difference in food, like say in the West Coast, like in San Diego, versus here?
It's all very,
way.
very different. Obviously, in San Diego, being in such close proximity to Mexico, it's very a lot of Spanish influence in Mexican food, but the seafood is totally different. Seafood is that's a lot of cold water seafood versus the warmer water of the Gulf over here. So I mean, out there,
whose is better? Definitively, for the record,
New Orleans. No, over there, I mean, it's a lot more lobster, crab legs, that type of stuff. Down here, you get, I mean, even the oysters are different. Gulf oysters are a lot larger, I think a little bit saltier, and a lot more fried stuff down here. A lot more catfish and a lot of the, obviously crawfish and whatnot. But very different seafood. So that's the biggest difference, I think.
The actual the stuff you have to work with. Well, Brandi, what are some of your favorite New Orleans restaurants? How long have you been here?
Restaurants? I lived here for 3 years before Katrina and came back. So I've been back, I guess, 4 years now. So.
Okay. It's different now. It's a totally different scene.
It is definitely different now, yeah.
What have you noticed from because that's interesting. You were there and you were gone for a lot of the rebuilding. What are the things that stick out to you?
I mean, I think the population of people to me seems different. There are a lot more, people who are not from New Orleans who live here, like me.
You mean like everyone at this table?
Like everyone here, yeah. who call it home. This is home for us. But even, it's before I think people who call New Orleans home had lived here for their entire lives and had never left New Orleans. So there's a lot of that. I mean, I live in the Bywater now. We're thinking about moving to Central City, and pre-Katrina, I don't think that I would have lived either one of those places, Did
you see the Chewbacca's parade this year?
I don't think we saw Chewbacca's, but the other day on May the 4th, may the 4th be with you, there was a Chewbacca's-esque parade in the Bywater. They kind of did a parade, a Bywater parade that was
sounds actually
every Star Wars. Yeah, it was fun.
I made the ultimate Chewbacca's mistake because I live uptown. I live very close to here. We're here at Wayfair on Ferret Street where we are right now. But I almost passive aggressively drove down there because I'm bad with crowds and stuff, like too much chaos. So the parades that I can walk to here is great, but I'm not a big fan of like fighting logistics. So I just sort of fine, I'm just going. And we took all, I have 5 kids. We went all piled in the car, and we went down there.
Costumes?
Yeah, well, my one son, I failed to mention the reason I had to go to the Chewbacca's parade is because my son was in it with another family.
Awesome.
So the rest of us, I drove down there and basically just got lost and all that, but it basically wound up, there's a box that gets formed by that parade route. I didn't know this.
Right.
And I was in it. So we didn't leave.
You couldn't leave. You're trapped.
We were trapped until midnight, and then we finally broke free and went into the quarter to try. And I went all the way across the quarter. I've been here 25. I should know better, right? But I forgot about all the other parades.
Yeah.
So when I got at Decatur and Canal, and it was all shut
You
down.
can't go anywhere. Yeah.
So then I turned. Yeah,
Yeah.
I said some technical terms that night as I was driving.
Yeah.
Anyway, but so you're in the Bywater now, and obviously that has changed a great deal. Well, what makes you think you might want to move?
I mean, this is a total New Orleans reason. Mardi Gras. I just want to be near the Uptown parades during Mardi Gras.
Nice.
So, Central City for me is the place to be. I'm a public defender, so I can't really afford to live uptown, but I think we can afford to live in Central City. So
That's where I live now. It's
Yeah.
great for the
You're in Central
parade.
City.
I know, huh?
Where are you? What area?
I'm
What
so
Well,
jealous.
I won't give my address out.
No.
But I'm off Jackson.
Okay.
That's awesome. I'm so jealous.
It was good. I learned the hard way the first day where I was like, oh, day parade. I live right on the route.
Mm-hmm.
And then whoops.
Were
So-
you stuck
a little
somewhere?
too much fun that day. But
Oh.
you have to go through it, experience it, and then you get your bearing, your sea legs, if you will.
Maybe you, Mikayla, can help Brandi with some
I know.
text her if you see a sign go up.
I will. Yeah.
Thanks.
That's how you do it down here anyway,
You just got to drive around until you find a place. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Preston spends his days making delicious food. We make a lot of music, and actually, I make delicious pizza too, by the way.
Well, I work at a pizza restaurant.
Which one?
Can I say that?
I don't know. Sure.
Reginelli's.
Oh, nice.
I work at the one uptown. It's great. They're going to be at Taste of
State
the Lake on
Magazine.
Friday. So will my band. It's really a camaraderie thing.
Nice.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Oh, speaking of local fine establishments, it's time for me to mention our sponsors today. And I'm happy to mention this first one because I know Desiree, and she's an awesome person. Happy Hour today is brought to us by Basics Swim and Gym, a full range of fashion swimsuits, workout, and yoga clothes with style. Basics Swim and Gym is on Magazine Street near Jefferson Avenue. My wife Becky has a beautiful new Basics Swim and Gym outfit that was her big Christmas gift. Yeah, and those guys are awesome over there. They're very kind and helpful, and they have wonderful products. Our other sponsor is Hangover Destroyer. I don't know these people, but it sounds wonderful. It's the only all-natural product medically proven to prevent a hangover. Go to Hangover Destroyer's website, which is hdestroyer.com. That's hdestroyer.com. If you write Happy Hour in the coupon code, you'll get 30% off Hangover Destroyer, and you can, I love this part, you can seize the dawn. Yes. Which sounds like a horror movie or an action movie, I don't know which. But you can seize the dawn. Hangover Destroyer. So you can go out, drink too much, get up the next morning, cure your hangover, and put on a lovely bathing suit, courtzy of our sponsors. Walk around your house.
And go eat a milkshake at Belle's. Huh?
That's right.
Speaking of bathing suits in New Orleans, I was walking my dog this weekend, and I saw a man. It was like, this is 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday. Walk his trash out to the curb in his white. They were tighty whities. They were actually black, but they were basically his briefs. Is that right? Briefs? Not. They weren't
Yeah.
boxers even. His
Right.
briefs. Walked his trash out to the street, back and forth, like carrying all his trash out there. I thought that's.
Maybe it was a swimsuit.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Getting ready to go lay out at the fly.
Right. But that guy, you never know. If he walked around too much, he might end up as one of your cases. Which I want
Depends how
to.
short the briefs were.
There's probably some line. I don't know what the line is. But let me. So I did want to ask you, because you're doing. I was trying to make a transition to all our fun stuff. You're doing a lot of good and hard work. What is. What are some of the things that you've seen so far in this new role? What's something that's given you hope, and what's something that's been really frustrating?
Well, that's tough. I mean, we get a lot of domestic abuse battery cases. We get a lot of battery fighting cases. But we get a lot of...
That seems like it would be felony, not misdemeanor.
No, it depends on how the cop writes it up. It depends on what happened, I think, in the fight. It depends. Your first 2 domestic abuse batteries are misdemeanors, and the third one is a felony, so it kind of
Really?
depends. But just with you guys here, like, I had a guy today who was arrested for tap dancing on Bourbon Street past 8 p.m. No. Don't do that.
Well, you're not allowed to play music on Bourbon Street, apparently.
Past 8
outside.
p.m., yeah.
At all. Busking, rather. Well, I got told. I don't know who told me, but they told me, and I left.
Wait, he got.
This is
like a
right.
couple
I
years
can't see
ago.
how that would turn into an arrest, though. I would think that would be like a, hey, buddy, clear out.
I don't remember if so they sometimes give you a summons. They'll just give you a ticket and they tell you go to court on May 16th. And if you don't go to court on May 16th, then they issue a warrant for your arrest. So that guy might have just been, tap dancing. And then he didn't come to court when he was supposed to. So then they saw him a couple of days later and arrested him. And then one of my favorite clients keeps getting arrested for failure to pay for food or drink at a restaurant.
Same restaurant?
No. She kind of goes to all different places.
Do you have a picture?
I can later give you a description of her. But she, one of my favorite ones was, the way they wrote it up. And she gets arrested, mind you. She's probably a 60-year-old woman who's very mentally ill, and she continually gets arrested. But one of my favorite cases of hers, bless her heart, she went to... What's the famous restaurant in the quarter where they have the fire fountains and the...
Pat
O'Brien's.
Pat O'Brien. She went to Pat O'Brien's. She ordered 2 Bloody Marys, a cheeseburger with pickles, and she left without paying. But so we have people who have mental health problems. We have a psychiatrist who evaluates people for competency issues, and she's been evaluated by a psychiatrist, and her mental illness is... she goes to these restaurants and chooses the food based on something that's going on with her. She would choose to order a fish sandwich in some restaurants because she believes that eating the fish would give her superpowers or something, So for her, it's a very serious mental health issue, and she continually gets arrested for it. And
Well, what do you think she need? Is it a situation where she needs to have more care, basically, and so she's...
Yeah, we need more mental health care. We need housing. We need to treat homeless people with respect instead of treating them like they're criminals and treating them like... I have a guy that came in the other day, and he goes into hotels to use the bathroom because he's homeless. And I told my judge, I'm like, just don't ask him any questions, Judge. Just take his no contest plea and, sentence him. Don't ask him any questions. And the judge was like, all right. So he's like, Mr. Tony, what happened? What are you doing in this hotel? What are you going on? And Mr. Tony kind of bends down to the microphone. He goes, Judge, I had to make a bowel movement.
Case closed. Drop the mic.
Drop the mic. So, I had a guy the other day get arrested for using a porta potty. That was marked as private property or something like that. So he's homeless. He needs to use the bathroom.
I assume a lot of
there's nowhere
those
else to
just
go.
go in and out of the system. That's not a lot of... Those people don't spend very long in the system, I would think. Right?
Sometimes you do. They used to set a bond on those cases, so you would have a $300 bond. But if you're super sick or you're truly homeless, your other homeless friends you're not going to have a phone number for them. You're not going to have a way to contact them. Right. So it wouldn't matter if you had a $10 bond. You're not going to bond out on it. So they've sort of changed the rules in municipal court where there are some offenses now that are automatically become released on your own recognizance. It just depends on how many times you've been arrested on those same charges. Right. So, they're not funny when you're sitting in the box. I'm laughing about Mr. Tony now having to use the restroom, but
right.
It's serious for people, and they're living on the streets. They're living, and they'll say, my judge will ask, where do you live? Why don't you stay at a shelter? Well, I can't. I've overstayed my stay at the shelter. I don't have anywhere else to stay. I literally live on the streets of New Orleans and pray for a handout.
Right.
I tap dance for money, or I hold a sign for money. And, we also have a lot of heroin in this city, and people get arrested for panhandling for heroin. We try really hard. In our public defender's office, we try really hard to care about the whole person. So we want to find you housing. We want to get you into treatment. We want to contact your family and see what we can do to keep you out of the system. We're not just in and out. We really try, to call you when you have a court date and to help you so you don't come back into the system.
Right. It does seem like there's definitely more, you see more homeless people right now on the corners than you did 5 years ago.
Yeah, every corner.
Obviously, you're sort of more plugged into the workings of our legal system and everything else. But is there a sense for why that's happening right now?
I don't know. I guess if people are panhandling on the corner and they're making money, they're going to keep panhandling on the corner, If you're going to donate money to a homeless shelter and all the money and food and funds and all that go to the shelter, then people might, I don't know, might seek their resources from the shelter instead of the streets. But people are making money doing it. They're able to survive. They're, by doing it, so they keep doing it.
It's hard. It's funny. You see, that's hard work. Being out there in the heat and the sun all day, and you're in sales.
We were just complaining about like how hot it is out today. We should go in and get a cold beer somewhere, or go somewhere. But for them, they are standing there getting sunburned, or freezing, standing in the rain. I'm not advocating for panhandling at all, believe me, but some people feel like that's their only way.
Right.
And then they get arrested for it, and then they come in and they become our client.
Well, it's funny. We're talking about, it's like, as we talk about all the delicious food and music, what you're talking about right now is just as much of a part of the reality of our city. And it's, I think people need to think about it more and think about solutions to all this more. And it's,
yeah, we have a crazy
can't
amount of
separate the
inmates.
two.
No, we have a crazy amount of people in jail in this state. Our jails are overpopulated. And most recently, I think this week or last week, the sheriff sent 600 people from our new jail to parishes out across the state of Louisiana. So I have clients on misdemeanor charges
that are somewhere in
that are
Monroe or
three. They're in East Carroll Parish, which is 3 hours away. They're in St. Martinville, Louisiana, which is a couple of hours away. Just as examples, they are hours away. They're in Jackson, which is 2 hours away. They're in Hunt, which is near Baton Rouge, which is an hour away. And so if your family is there on a crazy charge or whatever it is, you can't go see them.
Right.
The problem is huge.
Right, and that's nationwide too. I know that just there's more and more concern you see over like the 40-year effects of the war on drugs and and prisons for profit. You kind of sense that in the coming years, there will be policy changes.
I hope so.
There's certainly, I read a lot of national news, and you kind of that theme is coming up again and again and again right now. It's very much a hot button topic, so maybe we'll see some changes. But so again, taking that into consideration, our city that we all love, and that's a reality of it that we have to face. Like this morning, I read the Metro section and I regretted it. It's like you see, who stabbed who and who was, and who stole from who, and it actually will bring you down. But putting that aside, let's go to the living section for a second. And I want to, all you guys, you've chosen to be here like me and love the city. I'm curious to know, like Preston, beside Belle's, what are some places? What are your favorite places to eat? What are some of your favorite things about the city? What brought you here?
Well, I came down here during Mardi Gras, as you said. We all enjoy our Mardi Gras. I came down here Mardi Gras in 2005, and I was traveling at that time and decided to stick here. I really love it.
So were you here yet for that when the flood happened? Where you had to?
Yeah, I was here. I came here.
Good timing, right?
Yeah, right. I left San Diego to get some weather, and I got it. So
yeah, I'd say. Holy moly!
But I was here about 6 months before the storm, and came
Where
back.
Were you living?
That's amazing. You came back.
Yeah, I was living in the corner off of Rampart.
It's relatively dry, at least.
Yeah. I was high and dry. I had one broken window in the apartment. And,
Good.
My El Camino got flooded, but I fixed it.
Okay. Is it still with us?
No, I sold it about 2 years ago.
But it exists.
It didn't have a
alive.
back seat, so
Okay.
I can't drive a 7-year-old around in that. So.
No.
But,
by the way, tell me about your. You got one child.
Yeah, my son Phoenix turned 10 yesterday. Happy birthday, buddy.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
Yeah, and he's going to ISL in Algiers Point.
Lovely.
He did go to Homer Plessy down at the Bywater for his pre-K, and then we moved over to Algiers Point. So,
Nice.
yeah, he's doing well over there, speaking Spanish and rocking, being a good little kid, man.
All right, so your New Orleans essentials. What are some of your New Orleans essentials? Food, music, or
Yeah, music. Definitely. Pop into One Night Jacks a lot.
Nice.
See what they have going on. And then one of my.
that's one good thing about being where you are.
Yeah.
If you're working, because I assume you work insane hours, right?
Yeah. I mean, I've gotten away from the bartender hours, which I kept for a long time. I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning now,
Oh,
as opposed to going home at 5 o'clock in the morning. I much rather get up at 5 a.m.
I don't know.
After doing it for 15, 20 years,
You've grown up.
It's not as glamorous as it seems.
Right.
So yeah, music. One Eyed Jacks. I stopped by Hi Ho. Check out music around.
Nice.
Can't wait to see you.
I know, me too.
Yeah, and then New Orleans food, man. You gotta do the long lunches.
Yeah. Where's your po' boy? Where's your po' boy spot?
Oh, the po' boys. Probably gonna be Mahoney's.
Nice.
Yeah.
Was it guys that had the car drive through the wall the other day on magazine? Right?
Really?
I haven't been by. I saw it in the paper though.
Shame.
Yeah, someone drove through the
I think
front.
something had happened to that place right before that happened too. It was just one thing after the other. But now they're completely renovating, and it's going to be awesome.
So it's like a silver lining.
Yeah, exactly. There's a silver lining in everything, you know.
All right. Well, so Mikayla, tell me about what's your essential New Orleans food spots besides Belle's and Wayfair?
Cajun seafood on Claiborne. Amazing.
Nice.
First place I ever had crawfish and a po' boy, so I'm a little biased. It's so neat in there. It's crazy. It's very eclectic. What else? Reginelli's, of course. I used to work at Commander's. It's one of the most magical experiences if you come to New Orleans. They also have the 25-cent martinis.
Nice.
Let's see, where else?
What about music? Who are your musical inspirations currently?
In general or in New Orleans?
Yeah, here in town. Like, who's doing good work right now?
Oh, there's so many. That's such a tough
I'll give you a
question.
starter.
Okay.
My current favorite is Alexis and the Samurai.
Amazing.
And
Sweet Crude. So good. They're incredible. And everyone,
She's so
musicians here are just incredible people, too. Everyone's just a person.
That woman has a powerful voice.
Yeah.
Music? Tell me more
Okay,
while I get a note
okay.
from our producer. Please keep talking.
Tank and the Bangas are an incredible, eclectic group. Johnny Sketch and the Dirty Notes are wonderful
Absolutely.
to see, too.
I saw those guys, or some of them, as a part of that Rory Danger thing. Have you seen the Rory Danger? Down at One Eyed Jacks, it was like a Rory Danger and the Danger Dangers. It was a lot of the Johnny Sketch guys. It was like 20 people on stage. It was quite a sight. They were doing rockabilly, but it was like art. It was like art house rockabilly. But look, hey, Mikayla, speaking of music, we would love to hear a song from you if you would grace us with your lovely voice.
Let's see, what should I do?
I feel like it's ukulele time.
All right.
That is a ukulele,
This
right?
is a ukulele. I have a good, nice low string on this one. Makes it a little richer than the regular ukulele sound.
It sounds good.
It's fun. I met someone. I'm at the radio station every Wednesday, and there's the French Market Cafe right across the street. And someone who used to play there all the time. We'd seen each other for weeks, and one time I walked out, and he was like, "Oh, is that a ukulele? I have one too." It's like, cool. We got to talking. He's like, "Do you know how to change the strings?" And I said, "No, I have no idea." Because it's a long story how I picked up the ukulele. But he next week he brought me like a little kind of, what do you call it? Just like a tester for practicing to change your strings on the ukulele.
Yeah.
And then he gave me this low string, and he's in a ukulele band too. It's
No.
awesome. It's fantastic.
The red
People
string
down
is
here.
the low string? That's cool.
So it's changed your ukulele world.
If you will.
I have a ukulele.
Really?
You got one?
See, ukulele,
It's in the case.
It's amazing. Anyone can buy one. They're
I don't
one
know
of
what
the
to do with
on
it.
the cheaper side of instruments, and they're not intimidating to people. It's kind of like, it seems like a toy, but it's absolutely a true instrument. It's lovely.
I don't know. I would
In the
fumble
right
around.
hands.
My fingers are too big. I would
Well,
make
that's
a,
the
I'd
thing.
make
my,
a mess.
My hands are too small for a guitar, so
That's right.
this is perfect for me. All right. I guess I'll do another one that's coming out on my album. But which one? Do you want to hear another like romantic song or about like life and questions?
Ooh, those are tough. I mean, I almost cried at the first song, so
Oh gosh.
Fun.
yeah.
Well, this is okay. I'll do one that's a little happier.
Okay.
I guess. I mean, that's not a sad one.
It wasn't
Hopeful,
sad.
it's
It just
hopeful.
seems like every single person has that.
Thank you. Well, I'm sorry for everybody that does, but
Right.
I'm glad that people can relate. All right, this one's called Same Page.
have a conversation, 'cause we want nothing to change. And labels are just simple words, we translate the complication in the social world, but I want nothing to change. And I just want to say, you're still growing on me every day. And I just have to say, I'd like to be the only face to see when you wave. The other night it flooded, I got stuck, I couldn't pick you up, just the worst of love. So I waited to the pub across the street. An hour later you showed up with soaking feet. Wait, so you walked miles in the rain just to see my face? Well, I just want to say, you're still growing on me every day. And I just have to say, I think we're on the same page. Ooh, yeah. You kissed my cheek to dry my tears. I hadn't opened up like that in years. What are you doing to me? 'Cause I've been afraid for so long, but you took my hands and you held us. Now all I want to do is hold on to you. And I just want to say, you're still growing on me every day. And I have to say, I'd like to be the only face you see when you wave. And I think we're on the same page. Well, I hope we're on the same page, but I think we're on the same page.
That was awesome. You're amazing.
Nice. Mikayla Braun, everybody. Mikayla, please plug your next couple of shows or anything you want to mention.
Well, on Friday, I'll be with different music than this, but the 7-piece band, the Crooked Vines, will be at Taste of the Lake in Lakeview. And then on Saturday, I'll be doing a solo set with a girl named Catherine Rose Wood at Big Mama's Lounge at the House of Blues, and that starts at 9 o'clock. And I'll be doing a set, and then Catherine will afterwards. And I have a website, www.mikaylamusic.com. That's Mikayla music.com. And I always have all my shows with all the groups I'm singing with up there.
So that, yeah, and that Friday date is the 13th, right?
Friday's the 13th.
May 13th
and then,
of the year 2016.
Exactly. And then the next day as well, the 14th.
Because people will be listening to this for years and years and years to come.
Wow, yeah, May. What a beautiful month.
So we've only got a little bit of time left. I have to read credits, and I want to do a song because I'm a shameless self-promoter, and Mikayla's going to help me sing it. But before we do any of that, what are y'all's summer plans?
Music.
Who's going where? Anyone going somewhere cool?
I'm probably just going to head down to the beach, down Gulf Shores or Pensacola, somewhere in that area.
Speaking of which, I guess Hangout Fest is coming up, right?
Yeah, soon.
That's like, I've never gone to Hangout Fest. Because of my work, I'm almost always working like that in weekends in May, but that seems like the greatest. Like stage on the beach, Jack Johnson and all those cool, like chill people. I want to do that.
It looked fun maybe 10, 15 years ago.
Am I 27 years too old for that? Is that what you're saying?
You can always blend in. I mean, nobody will know.
I'll just go right there with all my teenagers and hang out with them the whole
There you
time.
go.
They will love that. Just be like right there with them.
Just don't stand by us, Dad.
Oh, I can just picture the melody. Actually, after this taping of this podcast that we're doing right now, I'm going up the street. All 5 of my kids go to Lusher.
That's 5. You're busy.
Yes, sir. And my oldest son, he's a musician, Rex Collins. He's so lucky. He's got a woman. He's a junior. This woman's a senior. I say woman because she is like a Nora Jones. She's like, she's not as. She's a lovely singer. Complimenting one singer to another singer. She's incredible. And I mean, so they're a duo, and they do a Neutral Ground Coffee House and stuff. Anyway, he's playing his end of year concert in a little while, so I'm gonna go check that out. If somebody wants to see. But anyway, that sounds like fun. The beach. Brandi, what are you doing?
I'm going to Kansas tomorrow.
Oh.
I know, everybody settle down. Yep. And we'll probably go
Which
to
city in Kansas?
Lawrence, Kansas, where the University of Kansas. Well, I grew up in Frankfort, Kansas. Where I'm going for my niece's graduation. So
How far is that from, like, was it Wichita? Where's Wichita?
probably 3 or 4 hours from Wichita, yeah.
My mom's from Wichita.
And then, oh, cool.
Yeah.
And then we're going to Cape Cod for, a couple of days.
That's lovely. That's in the sometime. Oh, right now.
Summer.
Summer.
Probably like July, August, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you're just doing a bunch of gigs.
Well, yeah, I'm going home. I'm going home to Maryland in July, and then I'm flying from there to San Francisco, and then going up to Washington to Olympic National Park, where my best friend is doing seasonal work right now.
But that's gonna be ugly.
Yeah, the worst.
It's gonna be
Beautiful. Opposite weather of
Yeah,
this.
I went last year. It's
cool
incredible.
and misty, and it sounds great.
Yeah.
All right, so my name is Rich Collins, and I want to play a song for y'all. So, in addition to my Disney project, I do a bunch of other music, and I came on the show a few months ago to promote a song in an album called Golden Pick. And I'm gonna do that song right now, and maybe Mikayla can sing a couple of harmonies. I got a ukulele with a golden pick, gonna write a pretty little song with it. Tell my little baby that I love her so. I got a guitar with a silver string, and it sounds like heaven when you hear it ring. Open up the gates and let them sing for you. All for you, yeah. Na 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 na. Tell my little baby that I love her so. Whoa. Na 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 na. Tell my little baby that I love her so. Whoa. And I'm pounding out a rhythm on a beat up drum. One day I'll get it covered up in platinum drum, and I'm playing a rhythm for you. Diamonds all over my microphone, and the spotlight's hit it, gonna see it shine. Say that you love me, and I'm gonna give it all to you. All to you, yeah. Na 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 na. Tell my little baby that I love her so. Whoa, sounds better already. Na 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 na. Tell my little baby that I love her so. Whoa. All right. Rock the rhythm one time. You are the reason that I got the rhyme. Bring it back to you. Bring it back to you. When the stars come out at night, your eyes are twice as bright. Yeah, bring it back to me. Bring it back to me. Got a ukulele with the golden pick. I'm gonna write a pretty little song with it. Tell my little baby that I love her so. Oh, 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 yeah. Na 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 na. Tell my little baby that I love her so. Whoa. Na 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 na. Tell my little baby that I love her so. Whoa. Oh, yeah.
You guys.
Thank you, Mikayla Braun. So now I've been lucky to sing with a bunch of awesome, better singers than me. Thank you. I'm going to add you to that list. Appreciate your help. So look, this is it's New Orleans Happy Hour, and I'm going to go ahead and read credits because that's what the producer's telling me to do through
So fun.
nonverbal cues. Let's see here. Okay, so thank you guys so much, by the way.
Thank you.
Thanks.
That was awesome.
Thank you
Brandi
so
and
much.
Mikayla, this is the first time I've ever had to wrangle a radio show.
You're awesome.
Great.
Yeah, you're natural.
Thank you. So look, the producer today is Graham DuPont.
Yay, Graham.
Associate producer and technical director, Chris Kehoe. Music director, Christian Unruh. who's not in Hawaii. Theme music was written by and is being played by Mitch Foreman. Thank you, Mitch, by the way, for the advice you gave me on sound production a few months ago. If you'd like to be on the show, drop us a line. Our address is on our website. Check out our other happy hours and other shows. Out to Lunch with Peter Raschuti, live at Commander's Palace. Sounds pretty good. True to the Game with Chris True. Midnight Menu +1 with Margot Moss and the man who ate New Orleans, Ray Kanata. Louisiana Eats with Poppy Tooker. And Milo's Music Parlor with Kim Vu. And the podcast about death. Death, the podcast, with psychologist Dr. Arian Elfant. You can also find other great Louisiana podcasts at itsacadiana.com and itsbatonrouge.la. Keep up with us on Facebook, Twitter, and a bunch of other time-sucking social media on all of the We're It's New Orleans. I'm not sure if that's correct, but I read it as written. You can find photos from this show on itsneworleans.com and our Facebook page. The photos are taken today by Allison Moon. Thank you, Allison. Please don't publish any of the ugly ones. If you're listening to this on iTunes, Stitcher, or another podcast app, thanks for subscribing. Take a moment to rate and review us. That helps other people find us. Recorded live today at Wayfair on Ferret Street, one of my favorite neighborhood restaurants. Thank you, Wayfair, where they put fine dining into a sandwich and fine booze into a glass. Happy Hour is a production of INO Broadcasting for itsneworleans.com. I want to wish Grant Morris a very speedy recovery, and I can't wait to be back here on the show with you, Grant. And Andrew Duhan, I missed you this week. Hope to see you soon. Thank you, everybody.
Imagine skiing blind down mountains at 70 miles per hour. I'm Danielle Umstead, blind alpine skier, 3-time Paralympic medalist, and former contestant on Dancing with the Stars. I decided to undergo a simple genetic test to identify the specific gene mutations causing my inherited retinal disease. Visit iwanttoknow.com, that's EYE, want the number 2, know.com, to find a provider to help you access genetic testing.